Hey there, welcome to Mike Makes Things and Sometimes Breaks Them. I've, as you can see by my lower third over here, I've been putting this off. I've been putting this off for a while. I don't know why. I used to do stand-up comedy, and it didn't terrify me as much as making a YouTube video, getting up in front of people live, getting them immediate feedback. Um, Gave me a rush, but talking into a camera and hoping for the best of comments seems to terrify me. The only way to get through something is to go through it. So here we go. I'm going to learn how to be a better product manager. I'm going to learn how to do better product research, do better interviews, do better requirements documents. Putting out a product, I'm going to use AI the entire way and, solving problems. At the same time, I'm also going to learn how to create a YouTube channel, post videos, edit them, make them better. I know it's going to help me get past my fear, being better at product management. It'll make me better at video editing. Have I taken on a lot? Probably. Have I taken on more than I can handle? Only one way to find out. Bear with me. It's like I said, it's a learning process. I'm going to be watching YouTube videos to help me learn how to better use the tools. So I'm going to use YouTube as my university. And what I'm going to do is, as I'm looking things up and doing research, YouTube will be a primary source of information for me. I will list them all in the videos as reference points and point you to those channels as well, because that's where I'm going to learn. So if nothing else, um, I will at least guide you guys to where I'm learning that stuff if it's something you're interested in. Let me show you what I started with. Let me preface it with I did it the wrong way. I dove in to the deep end head first, not thinking, not planning. I'll show you the results. Some of them are to be expected, some of them were surprising. The first thing that I did, I went straight to Cursor, which is what I'm using for my development environment. I just went straight to Claude Code. I didn't do any planning. What I see a lot in the market is that I want to make a product that will help me track all of these things to help other people with job searches. Because I've been on LinkedIn and I've seen a lot of the posts. It's very heartbreaking to hear some of these people from reading a lot of posts on LinkedIn. I think it's a problem a lot of people have. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to beta test it with my network. I will bring you through the whole process of concept, building, beta testing, feedback, iteration, hopefully release, and then we'll and scale it. All I did was open up Cursor. I just started right away. No planning, no specifications, very basic prompts. I let it run. And it went through this thing and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." And I know better. I know better. I'm a product manager. It's what I've been doing for a long time, and I know that you focus on the problem, you learn to love the problem, you figure out what the problem is, the pain it causes. This was the end result of that first coding session. I got a website up and running. I pushed the link and this is what you get. And so this is kind of where I left it. I just kept like throwing stuff out there and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And it was a bad experience.
I had a real bad experience, man.
What happened?
I had a bad experience.
And you saw what happened. I got nothing. I got a website that doesn't work. The second time I cheated, sort of. So I was watching the podcast of How I AI. That's a great podcast. I'll put the link in the notes. The guy that they were interviewing had this 3 file format, made a product requirements document, asked questions about the product's requirement document so that it got better, and then it went through and executed those tasks. So I figured that was probably a better place to go. So I followed that. I discussed with Claude back and forth what some questions were on the products requirements document. It did build products requirements document. So this is instead of just going, hey, build me an app. This goes through, and this is a proper product management procedure. You interview, summarize what the interview gave you, the data it gave you, and then you build this. And so it talks about the goals of what it is. So then it talks about, as a job seeker, these are things that I want to do as a user. And then it's going to go through the functional requirement. Security is going to be big because we got users that log in and you don't want anybody else knowing your job stuff but you. And then we've got success metrics. And so it then asked me some questions, which I then answered. It went through and it created these tasks that needed to be done to activate on that PRD. I started kind of with the solution and then did the product requirements doc. I got a little bit better. I got a little more detailed. That turned out a little bit better. So that turned into this. And so much better, obviously, from, from page not found to it's a good web page. It's a little bit of a lie here why job seekers love us. So this was the homepage. I was really excited. I was like, "Oh my god, I actually have a product now. I can work on, what to look for and all that stuff." And so I was like, "All right, let's start it." So I hit get started and I was going to create my account and I go to create account. I was all excited and then bam, we got an internal server error. And I started the loop again with Claude Code. Again, made a mistake. Didn't go through the proper preparation, didn't go through the proper measurements, didn't go through the proper analysis. I didn't take the proper time. Now, these two attempts at apps took about a day each. So I've got 16 hours into this of throwaway development. You can't just throw two sentences at a developer. You have to give them an idea of what you're trying to do. You have to give them a little bit of direction. However, you need to give them some freedom to create. And I went the full anarchist route with this and just went create. And what I'm learning is I have to go back to doing things the way they're supposed to be, the way I know they're supposed to be done. I started with Claude, um, and I started discussing. I started asking some questions. I started asking Claude to help the prompt. We went through it today, and I'm the user. So I'm going to act like a user. Going to Claude, going, I'm having a challenge looking for a job in product management field. I have numerous accounts over LinkedIn, Indeed, built in ZipRecruiter, and keeping track of all the applied for and their status is difficult. I'm not allowed to build a web scraper to interact with the websites to look for their postings, and all the communications and the next steps are through email. I want to build something that will consolidate the list of available jobs, then track the ones I apply for in a single app. I want to make sure that I do not violate any terms of service with the accounts, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to import track jobs. I want to have a discussion with you on UltraThink. If you want Claude to be the smartest it can be, you ask it to think harder or UltraThink. To figure out a prompt, I have given Claude some strategy frameworks. One of them I gave was what's called the STP analysis, the segment, the target, and the positioning. So the segment is job seekers managing multi-platform searches, initially PM professionals like yourself. Obviously, I want to be able to tailor this to whoever's looking for whatever job. Target, right now, it's going to be power users who apply to 20 plus positions across multiple platforms. And the position of the product is this is command center for your job search. So I want to consolidate and I want it to be intelligent. It also looked at the technical approach, which is terms of service compliant. That's TOS. Instead of scraping, consider email parsing, maybe manual job entries with smart templates. RSS feeds were available, a browser extension. So if you see an application on a website, you click add, you can hit the extension and it will also track that job as well. And then, of course, I want to integrate with any public APIs where they exist. So I want to make sure we build a proper product requirements document and have Claude Code analyze that. And as you can see, we're having a discussion. I have not done a single line of code for this. I haven't thrown this in any code editor. I haven't vibe coded this. I am doing what I am good at. I am doing research pretty much on myself. But Claude is playing the role of the product manager, and I am playing the role of the user. By doing this, I'm gaining empathy for the user, and I'm learning how to be a better product manager because I've made mistakes in the past where I assume I know more than the customer, and I'm not asking the right questions, and I'm not getting the right information. I'm not understanding their problem. I'm trying to come up with a solution to solve it. And that is not the goal of the initial requirements. The initial requirements is to understand the problem and to simplify the understanding of that problem, and then feeding those understandings to the development organization so that they can work with myself and the designer, if you're lucky enough to have one, to come up with a solution. So since I'm a one man show, I will be leveraging a lot of AI for this type of stuff. I'm also going to be leveraging them for the code. I'm going to be leveraging them for help with the UI experience, but I'm going to be basing it on best practices that are out there. We're going to learn best user practices, best security practices, and we're going to incorporate that in the journey. I think it's a good start. I think what we've started with is good. This is the initial draft. Now, this is what came out of today. So day one and day two, vibe coding, nothing working. Looks good, kind of. I don't know. I don't know if it looks good. It doesn't really matter if I think it looks good. It's not even usable. So here's what we came up with today. A lot of information. Now, I'm going to print this out. I'm going to go old school and I'm going to read it. And I'm going to take a highlighter. I'm going to take a pen and I'm going to figure out some stuff and I'm going to look at some questions and I'm going to bring it back tomorrow and keep going through this process. I think one more day of review and analysis and product requirements documentation generation, I think that's going to give us a really good starting point. And we've got some goals to hit and we've got some targets. And then as we go through this, and as I'm going to heavily rely on artificial intelligence coding, we're going to end up learning some stuff. I am not a natural born coder by trade. I know I know enough to be really dangerous in a couple of languages. I understand the architectural concepts, but I do not know all of the languages. So I'm going to be asking my Claude Code a lot of questions about the code it's creating and what it does and how it works. And that way I will learn and have somebody teach you to do it. And I'm going to rely on Claude to do that. So I hope you come along on the journey. If nothing else, you will hopefully see the videos getting better and you will see the product development process, the roadblocks I run into, how we can get around them, what the feedback from the audience is, if anybody finds this interesting or not. You know what? I'll see you tomorrow. I'll do this tomorrow and then we'll see what happens. And then if that works, I'll do it the next day. I hope you're doing something that you want to do day by day. Try something different. Get out of your comfort zone. I'm looking forward to what this is going to do for me. And I hope it inspires somebody to do something for them. If it does, let me know.